Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome to Jibber Jabber. I am your host, as always, Skidarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. With me today, we have something of a smaller assortment of individuals than usual, but it's not really all that big of a problem. So first and foremost, we have Darkness.
Hey everyone.
Let's see here. We have Soviet Starfish standing in the background.
Hi, I'm very upset. I am now disarmed. I don't have my gun.
Oh, good.
That is brilliant news.
Next up, we have Paladin, who is being glared at by Soviet and is just kind of smiling dumbly into your soul.
Stairs.
Stairs. And last but certainly not least, rounding out the Burnished Quarter for this week, we have Tom117Z.
Hello.
So, how has everyone's week been?
It was alright.
Me.
Nacron?
My mate came back from
I'm getting
his
ready to move
holiday and
tomorrow.
brought me back a rock. It was delicious.
Nice. So, we have an assortment of topics for today. 4 of them, in fact. I actually just added the 4th one to the list. It'll come before talking about Crimson.
Oh,
might actually oversect it. It'll actually be Tom's LARP, because I imagine he has some stories to tell about that.
Briefly, it was much quieter per usual. But yeah.
No?
We have time.
Okay.
But first of all, our first topic is the FFD6 recap we got to play this week, and I would like to recap the things that happened. I kind of wish Hades and Lumina would show up for this, but oh fucking well. So, in this week's session of FFD6, the party finally managed to complete their waiting on Neothil's thing in the city of Lolato. Neothil got the dress she commissioned for Mika as a sort of surprise, and the rest of the group then set off to continue their journey to the Academy City, passing out of the city of Lolato and making their way through the wilderness for a while, just following some roads. Eventually, after about 6 days of travel, they came to a bridge, nearby which a boat had been washed up on the shore with a bunch of individuals standing around it who were allegedly attacked by a giant angry sea turtle from the lake they were passing by. There's a bit of introductions thrown around, some casual chit-chat. The lady in charge, an Elvon named Fane Pharaoh, absolutely geeking out over Rocket and all the Magitech bits sticking out of her. And eventually an agreement was struck where the party decided to help Fane and her companions out of their sticky situation by dislodging the boat from where it had been speared upon rocks, and then Thanatos went and cut down a tree, almost getting crushed by it in the process so that they could have something to use to patch up the holes in the underside. Once the tree was felled, the party continued on their way, and after a few more days of travel, made it to the base of the Mages Mountains, where the Academy City rests at the top. They ascended for about a day. It's a 2-day ascension because of how steep it is and the harsh conditions and weather and terrain. And about halfway there had to set up camp, during which some Neothil and Mika Solon had a lovely little bonding moment where they kind of, to try and keep warm from the cold, bundled up together in a collection of 2 blankets and fell asleep together like that. It was adorable. Rocket had this beautiful little moment where she, for the first time in a long time, wasn't in perpetual pain because she went numb from the cold. So it still wasn't pleasant, but it was better than constantly hurting all the damn time, so that was nice. And, of course, when everyone woke up and morning had come, Neothil and Mika had this really adorably awkward moment where they realized, oh no, we fell asleep in the same place. Bundled under the same blankets. Oh no, it was really adorable and exceedingly awkward.
Hades tried to make a
My
comment ahead of the
character walked
walkie.
out and just gave him space.
Thanatos has not learned what space means.
Nope.
Yep, and so Mika threw all 3 blankets on him, and he wound up looking kind of like a Wookiee for a minute.
Needed that.
All right, someone threw blankets on him, and it looked like a Wookiee. Like a matted Wookiee who hadn't cut his hair in days. Or months, rather.
Oh dear.
Following that, they continued on their way, ascended the rest of the way up the peak they were climbing, and eventually came to the Academy City itself. After 14 goddamn sessions, they finally got to this damn place. It took them long enough. They stepped in through a very cheekily hidden entrance and went to the streets, and whereupon they split up. Alistair taking Mika to the Central University at the back heart of the city, while everyone else just kind of stood around trying to determine their next course of action while they waited for Alistair and Mika to return. And that's where we stopped. So the party finally
Mika
made
was having a massive nut up.
Oh yeah, she was ecstatic because she's been wanting to come to this place for a good couple years now, and she's finally here.
And it's my favorite part is her excitement.
And I was having fun role-playing that, yes.
She was in a trance, just viewing it all, everything else was static.
What would you say was your favorite part, you two, Darkness, Tom?
The awkward blanket scene.
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
And like I said, my favorite part was just the thrill excitement of Mika when she got there.
Yeah, for me, it would be a combination of the blanket scene and
that was amusing.
Yeah, and just role-playing as Fane.
Oh yeah, I did like Fane.
When
We
Nice
hope
said,
to
I
bump
like
into
this
her.
one, playing at Thane, I was half expecting Mika just to kind of glare.
I kind of missed that part, actually, but...
Although if we do want to bump into her, she's all the way down the mountain. Damn.
Oh well. As things stand, you guys finally made it to the Academy City, so...
I'm thrilled for the next one.
Yeah.
I really hope it does happen next week.
What do you think's going to happen next? I'm curious to hear your predictions.
Well, clearly some big thing is going to go down, so hopefully before that happens, he can
Clearly.
plan.
What do you mean, clearly?
Yeah. Well, it's you, and it's Final Fantasy D6, and plot needs to happen.
Well, yes, but what makes you so sure something big is going to go down? Right where you are.
Because we're there.
And? The world doesn't
And the
revolve
world-
around you.
It does when the DM is dicking with us.
Oh dear.
I dick with you by having important shit happen elsewhere, and then you find out about it later, so you feel bad.
Uh-huh.
As for me, well, I'm expecting to get probably some things done. Also, see how Mika will evolve, how she gets on there. But I don't know why. I have a sudden, strange feeling. It's probably just nothing, but I just have a strange feeling that Vanatos may do something, or he may decide to have a little moment of peeking in and trying to. The only reason, though, to be in the academy itself.
You're expecting
Is to
Thanatos to get
see-
himself kicked out, essentially.
Well, either
Yeah,
get kicked out or to
yeah,
see
Have your own words.
what it's actually like and what spells he might be interested in.
He
I
won't
wouldn't
have to be
surprised.
bored for long because it wouldn't be so much a Final Fantasy. Oh look, the ending plot happened, and the complete other part of
that
the map that you had
happens-
nothing to do with it, and you just had a nice old time when nothing happened bad at all, and the campaign's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or he just gets in and then
Well, I mean-
Alistair would be like, oh, fuck.
well, I mean, for one thing, Neothil still needs to find her blue mage.
I know she's going to do that right after the other thing.
And
Oh, man.
and Thanatos has his own shit he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So does Rocket. Alistair's kind of a clean slate, which is part of what makes him, I think, probably, no offense or anything, Darkness, why I think makes Alistair one of the least interesting members of the cast.
Is that right?
But I mean, here's the thing. Mika's signing up to be a student at the academy.
That is the thing.
When you guys leave, she might not be able to tag along.
Yeah. That's a problem.
We'll see how that
So, well, but
works.
still there.
Whether she decides to do
What's going to
field
be
work
more
or whether-
important for Tom?
What was that?
I said, what's going to be more important for Tom
Well,
and
maybe
his
she can-
character? Staying behind and supporting the person he cares about, his character cares about, or going off with the group to save the world?
Well, it's not so much save the world. She's also got very deep personal shit about why she's here in the first place.
Yeah.
So,
I mean-
depending on where the Balloon Mage is going to point her, and obviously what Mika decides, whether she decides to delay things or tag along, or something else happens to Noma. We don't know. We don't know what's happening.
Nope. All I know is I'm basically showing Miko around and possibly keeping an eye on to make sure that she fits in, which I reckon she'd be fine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Nee's plan.
You've known
yeah.
several geeky nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nee's plans. She's gonna present her present, try to take her on this day, admit how she feels, find the Blue Mage, and then from there, ball pretty much in Mika's court what she wants to do.
Let's just hope she don't come across a very strict teacher. It's a bit harsh.
That reminds me, Darkness, I'll probably be sending you at some point after Jibber Jabber today a list of characters from the Academy City that you will know. Because your character's been here, you'll know like a lot of the teachers and professors and shit, so.
Yeah, as I was gonna say, is there a way I could basically be more helpful to Mika because I need to
Yeah. I'll send you information after we're done here. But yeah, that's the FFD6 recap for the week.
And then the next topic.
Paladin, Soviet, any thoughts from you two?
No, not really.
I ain't gonna lie, my connection's been spotty the last 5 minutes. Half of that conversation was lost to me.
Alright. Well, alright. The next topic, then, is actually more focused on my readings and kind of serves as a announcement of sorts, or a repetition of an announcement.
He is free of me.
Well, I mean, I'm still reading Sparkle in the Darkle, which is you, but...
True. He is not free of me.
But the changelings have come to an end.
All right, so allow me to really quickly explain. My reading of Change Queen of the Hive is officially over. And just as a heads up, I'm kind of reading from and paraphrasing a post I made on my Patreon page about this, so kind of paraphrasing it. I officially finished it off. It's done. So now I'm not going to be doing a reading of the next two stories. I'm not doing a reading of Avia, and I'm not doing a reading of the New Kingdom because let's take a minute and just look back on Change as a series, how long I've been working on it, and how long it is. This is a fucking long series, dude. All right.
Yeah,
the original.
We'll just put a little pin in that series. We'll come back to it at some point. Probably not in the near future.
I don't even think I'm coming back to it. I'm just leaving it. I'm done. I mean, let's take a minute and actually think about when I started. I started my reading of it in, what was it, February of 2017? Somewhere in there, about the time I first got in touch with you.
Blimey.
Yeah,
It is all...
Yeah, like a couple of years ago at this point. It was a long-ass time ago that I first started doing that reading, and it was the first big reading I decided to leap back into when I finally got my mojo for doing readings back after that several-year silence I had due to depression and whatnot. And just life getting in the way and the lack of good equipment, yada, yada, yada. Finally got back into... finally got back into doing readings, and Change is what I started with. The first story was over 60 chapters long. I could manage that. The sequel was over 60 chapters long. The problem is they blended so seamlessly into one another, it felt more like one super long reading rather than a story and its sequel. So that was well over 120, close to 130 chapters of just stuff that I was obligated to do every week. I have known these characters very intimately for 2 years now because of this.
You'll never forget Cardus or any of the rest. Dallas.
I definitely will not forget.
Empress Immortalis.
Tom mentioned her already.
Shit.
Yeah. I am very familiar with these characters at this point. I've been voicing them for 2 years. I need a change in gears. Because
I'm so glad you did bring this up, because I have one little word with Tom.
You can do that later. As it is. So, yes, this is a very long project, and one time I did actually, if you recall, I had to actually put my reading of Queen of the Hive on hold for a while because it was just too much. Because despite the fact I have the shortcut of being able to just press a key to apply voice filters whenever, there's still a lot of editing I had to do for the combat-heavy chapters when it comes to like sound effects and music. And anytime there's Hive communication, I had to go in and apply an additional layer of filters on that, which chopped up things. So this was a very long-winded project for me to work on. Exceedingly long-winded. But
Well, you're laughing about it, so you did kind of enjoy it.
I did enjoy it, and I'm very fulfilled to have finished it off. It's very satisfying to finally complete it, but I do not have it in me to do the next sequels. I just do not. Again, they'll kind of blend seamlessly together. This is a 120-chapter story, essentially, just with the first 2 entries. That's more than enough for me, so I am bowing out of doing any more readings of Change. You can boo at me in the comments all you like. My mind is already made up.
Or Avia.
Yeah,
I will understand. I mean, you have got a lot of other stuff to work on.
Yeah, I've got a lot of other stuff to work on, and this series is... no offense or anything, Tom, but because I've essentially had to read the first 2 stories 3 times each for the sake of doing the readings, I've gotten kind of sick of them. They're great stories still, but my brain is like, more Change, no. All right,
But
I mean, it's like if you eat nothing but one type of food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert every day for a year, you are going to get sick of that food. Even if you used to adore it, you are going to hate it when all is said and done. And that's kind of the case here. I still love Change, but I am very much burnt out on it, and I just need to stop. Which is why I'm not doing any more of that. What I am doing, though, is for the foreseeable future, for a while now, Change has filled in the Thursday and Friday slot in my reading rotation. If I could manage to get a full week in, there would a Change chapter be on Thursday and Friday. Now that Change is complete, what will fill in the Thursday-Friday slot? Well, interestingly enough, nothing, actually, for now at least. For now, Thursday and Friday is actually not going to be devoted to any fan fiction readings. It's going to be devoted instead to me looking for professional, actual contract voice acting work, like audiobooks. I've already auditioned for one. So on Thursdays and Fridays, I'll be auditioning for actual audiobook projects. And if I can get any, then I will prioritize those, because as much as I love doing these readings, and I do have a Patreon page through which I make money doing it, it's nowhere near a living wage. And I'm 22 years old, and I still live with my parents. And as financially practical as that is, it's also I feel like I'm leeching off of them, and I don't want to do that. So if I can manage to get more paying audiobook work in and get bigger paychecks and figure out that, yes, I can do this and get enough of a reputation in the voice acting squares that I can land jobs more easily, then that would really, really, really help. It'd help me boost myself up financially so that I can stop relying on my parents and become an independent person, something I really do want to do. So for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be prioritizing that. Now, that said, I do have a point sort of set up on my calendar of sorts for when I'll be coming back and adding a new reading to the Thursday-Friday slot, but that is going to be a while because it's October. Specifically, actually, it's the start of November, correction, is when I'll start doing that, because I have a trip in October from the 23rd to the end of the month where I'll be on the other side of the country visiting my brother and his fiancée to attend their wedding. So I'm going to be going from Washington to Connecticut, so it's other end of the continent. Big trip, and I'm going to be expected to pay for my own expenses when there. Like anything I want to buy for myself, any snacks, any food, any trinkets I want to get, any souvenirs, anything I want to buy over there that isn't covered in the family budget, which is, just like typical group breakfast, lunches, and dinners, I have to pay for myself. And to do that, I have to make sure I have enough money. And so finding a good audiobook reading is another step to do that. So I'm saving up each of my paychecks from Patreon and looking for actual audiobook work to get a bigger paycheck to finish that off. So, nice. And of course, with any luck, if I can land an actual audiobook contract that pays really well, I can upgrade some of my equipment. I kind of still need to upgrade my microphone. Good as it is, it's still a USB, so it's inherently limited. And I want to upgrade to an XLR. I might need to upgrade something else. Like I still need to get like something to soundproof my room so that when I'm doing readings, I don't have to worry about so many things. I can just have it properly work, which would be lovely if I can pull off. That's going to be a while yet. And yeah, so I've got a lot of shit ahead of me I got to do. And so for the time being, to help me facilitate that, the Thursday and Friday slot will be absent of readings for the most part. None of my other readings are being affected by this. I'm still doing Sparkle in the Darkness on Mondays and Tuesdays, and still doing the exclusive reading Bug in the Basement on Saturdays and every other Wednesday.
Speaking of Sparkle in the Darkness, after this Jibber is done, I'm uploading the epilogue of that.
Oh, nice.
Final chapter as well.
Nice.
Nice.
I'll be sure to read that when we're done here. So, yeah, so that is pretty much the overview of all of that. The reading of change is complete, and for the foreseeable future, Thursday and Friday is going to be devoid of readings. That's probably going to hurt me algorithmically on YouTube, but you know what? I can't be bothered to justify the existence of that algorithm by even giving it any mind, so I worry about it not at all.
It's kind of a shitty algorithm that allows people that make content farms to exploit a system and make more money than they should.
Yeah, so it's also why I don't monetize any of my videos. If people want to give me their money, they can do it on Patreon, but anything else, fuck it, no.
I need to get back into writing New Kingdom for those of who aren't sick of it, because I've been neglecting that for a few weeks.
Yeah, and
I am intrigued to know more, but I have got a little bit of a thing to say at one point.
You can do that when we're done here. When we're done with Jibber Jabber, then you can do that.
That's just a brief thing, just about one character.
You can do it later.
Of how I feel.
You can do it later.
Oh dear.
you can do it later. All right, onwards to the third topic, which is Tom's LARP. If you have any stories for us from that, now is the time to tell us.
I mean, aside from me getting drunk and going on Discord on my phone and talking to you.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful. I'll be sure to talk about that one before we move on to topic 4.
Please tell me you recorded it.
It wasn't voice chat, sadly.
No, so
I hadn't. Luckily, I was still enough sound enough mind to refuse to do voice chat, because otherwise I probably would have pissed off campsite. Because we were intense and trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So it was a lot quieter of an event this time. There wasn't quite as much. There was no, cannibalism in a church going on.
No cannibalism at a
Like last
church.
time.
No one having threesomes out of character.
No, none of that.
my.
Thank goodness, because that was awful. Even just hearing about it was horrible.
Thanks.
I
I've
was
been
in the
starting
tent next to it. It was worse for me. Yeah, first night was very, very quiet. Not really much happened. There was the only things that actually happened, like rather than last time, which the cannibalism plague started, and then there were future people standing up with guns and stuff. This time, it started off with the king of Albion summoning, creating an open forum in the arena, where he summoned the Canaanites, like leaders of the Canaanites, up, and basically told them how shit they were. They were terrible at their jobs, and then asked them some very basic questions on their species, and they got all of them wrong. So he lambasted them, chastised them, and chopped one of their arms off as punishment.
Thanks.
So
That's a little over dramatic.
yeah, the king's a self-professed asshole.
Self-professed.
Yes, he
That's
knows what he is not.
That's kind of like Lanius from Fallout New Vegas. Oh, you failed a single battle? Well, now, here, half of you are going to take these machetes and beat the others to death.
Oh my.
Damn.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, like Linnaeus for you.
But yes, so that happened. After that, well, I was drinking a big old bottle of homebrewed mead during this, which is when drunkenness started to come in. So soon after, like, people started fighting in the arena, and half drunk, I ended up getting involved in it. I managed to win one fight, and the rest I got my ass handed to me.
Aw.
I mean, one, I was half drunk, and two, I was winning a second fight, but then someone else entered the arena and then just jobbed me in the back. which was
Ouch.
no fair. That was dishonorable, but they're the Viking vegan people, so they have no honor anyway. So,
Dishonorable prick.
But the rest of the night was spent playing a drinking game called Tappy Cup.
And we saw the
I like
aftermath
that.
of that in chat.
Yes, that was
So-
after.
I just
That
watched it.
night was unpleasant because it started raining, and when I was drunk, I didn't care. But I woke up at 4 a.m, a few hours later, and my tent was flooded. I was hanging out of my ass, and it was all just outright unpleasant. Which was when I also went on Discord and kind of went, "Yeah, that happened."
And you had a hangover at the time, so I imagine.
Yes, and I was constantly trying very hard not to throw up.
Yeah.
I was awoken by the pinging noise because I forgot my phone was still on. And then I was just I'm best about to turn it off. I was like, actually, I wait.
I tell you, there's nothing worse than waking up in a half-flooded tent where it's still completely pouring it down outside, trying not to throw up, and also really needing a piss.
Oh dear. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Not through that bloody storm, ain't. That shit. So that was an unpleasant night. Very little sleep. I managed to drag myself out of bed when the rain had gone next morning for a fry-up breakfast. Good old hangover cure.
Nice.
Where the next mission I was monstering as a zombie thing, where we had 4 respawns and they had to destroy all of our body parts to stop us, which they seem to forget several times, because at one point, well, one of them, I've talked about him before, like former General Krenko, also known as General Dirtnap, like broke out. One of the players, he broke formation and came out of line, so a bunch of us as zombies just kind of surround him and just beat him to death until he was on the ground. At which point, a dwarf called Grim just kind of leapt into action, just cut us all down with his axe, and then kind of turned his back to me to kind of start chopping up one of them, seeming to forget I was there, at which point I just kind of came back to life, stood up, and then just stabbed him multiple times until he went down as well.
Huh.
Brilliant.
That will
Yeah,
do it.
Fortunately, the rest of the group then caught up, killed us, and managed to drag them back into lines and stabilize them. So they survived. We didn't lose anyone this event, ultimately, at least not permanently. Yeah, similar things like that happened later on. Like another time I got beaten down. Like all my body parts got destroyed on my first life. So I went down, kind of laid there. They were all kind of just looking at me. It's like, is he dead? Is he dead? And then I kind of just jumped up them, like doing a loud zombie noise, and one actually screamed.
Durable
Just
zombies. But you have rotten luck in combat.
We were very durable zombies. Though technically we had 4 lives, though sometimes we didn't, because there were a few times where like one guy with like a massive warhammer was going crush, crush, crush like 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, we're Jenny now. We're not getting up from that.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Well, it's not so much fuck the shit I'm out. It's more that I literally don't have anything left aside from paste.
Oh.
So there's nothing to regenerate anymore. So we're just we're dead.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That was very unpleasant.
Yeah, we got through that. We did everything. We got to the end, though the mission was cut short because the heavens opened up, and rain started, so we ran away from that for a while. The next mission was rather uneventful and boring. Over half of us just sat around doing nothing the entire time while a few magic people did rituals. Though there was a moment where 3 of our players got turned to stone statues for a while.
That won't get out.
Luckily, they managed to get the riddles correct in the end, so they got brought back. But it was close, since one of the people sent the statue was like the Jarl and leader of the Vegan. So that would have caused issues.
Oh yeah.
They got disintegrated.
Eventually, there was also like this spirit of a 13-year-old girl going around just kind of asking to play tag and all that. And when one of our most powerful mages did discern magic on them, he passed out.
Oh.
It's like,
no.
and basically when we eventually woke him up, I was like, yeah, that's a cosmic being, eldritch abomination.
Oh.
Don't go
no.
near it. It's not as instant. And basically, she was saying, "Oh, my sister's trapped inside. You should open this door." But eventually, we managed to detect what was inside, and basically, it was a cosmic paradox and an old one.
Okay, yeah, we're not doing that.
The thing is, we had to go in there to
around.
get a couple of keys.
Oh no.
Uh,
Oh no.
I wasn't on the mission to do that. That was so while like a bunch of the professional guilds went off to go and do that, I was off training a bunch of small children how to fight. So basically, there was a few of us who were told we had this necklace in a tree to defend. These children are going to try and take it from you. We knew these children were going to die a lot. We went with it. So they died a lot because wave after wave, like one of their biggest issues is they couldn't seem to grasp the concept of teamwork. Like at one point, they got really close to doing it. They snuck around us when we were fighting a couple of them, like two of the kids, like the oldest one, like this girl who's a vegan, and then one of the smaller kids who was acting as backup. She got it. She got the necklace, and then we spotted her, turned on her, and her backup ran away, and then didn't defend her. So she ended up getting cut off between two of us, and we just insta-shot her.
That is sad.
Yeah. Eventually, we let them in because some of the smaller children started having a tantrum, but they couldn't win.
Oh.
Yeah. So like they're getting teary now. All right. So I'm gonna turn this way, pretend I can't see him while they steal the necklace. And look, he won.
Good sport.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Though before they did that, they did kill 3 out of 5 of us.
Ooh.
I was not one of those 3. Mostly because one of them
Impressive.
was one of the kids' dad and the head of the church, who they basically swamped and just stabbed to death. The other one was my fellow Templar, who they damaged enough until he entered a berserk state, took out the entire party, but then dropped. So he was out.
Damn.
And then they also dropped the other one while we weren't looking.
Yikes.
Sounds like these kids could use a crimson.
But they couldn't take out us two because the other guy with me was Grandmaster in everything. So he's a player that even we couldn't take on if we wanted to as a group. So like, we don't not sure why he was brought in to take on the kids because they never had a chance in hell. And then me, I call crushers, and since none of them had armor, I was just crush, you're dead, go. Every time I hit them. So after that, we returned to camp. There was a bit of wild magic going around, which indicated that there was the stuff with the Eldritch Abomination was going well, quote unquote, and random effects were going on. So, fellow church member Magnus turned into a shadow monster who could just phase through things, but made it feel tingly, so I kept poking him and annoying him.
Thing?
Then I turned into a shadow monster who returned the favor. Though I learned quickly how to make him stop by basically putting my hand to his chest and holding his heart.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Then another flash event happened. We swapped bodies for a little while.
Okay. You know what? Actually, that just puts a funny funny thought into my head. If a ghost can selectively choose what they physically interact and pass through, wouldn't that make them like the best candidates to be surgeons? Because they can just put their face into the injury and see what the problem is. Being a ghost, they're naturally luminescent, so they're gonna have light in there.
Yeah.
It's still like just a bunch of flesh. It would still be kind of disorienting, I'd imagine.
I mean, yeah, probably, but still, it's like, they could do that. They could totally do that. They could shove their face into an open chest cavity and not worry about hurting the patient.
I mean, it makes it feel
I want
funny.
to see that now.
I don't.
Yeah, just a funny thought. Okay, carry on. I just needed to get that out of my system.
There are a few other effects. Like one guy became supremely randomly drunk and he had to act that out. Another guy had roots growing from his feet and was nailed to the floor. Like one of his it was a druid. One of his fellow druids decided it was funny to keep pulling him, like tearing the roots out, and which was really painful. And eventually that caused the magic to decide to switch their fates and made him rooted to the ground, and the other one was fine.
Oh.
Our healer became angelic and was dropping feathers everywhere. She saw nothing wrong with this. We were very annoyed by the constant feathers we had to clear up. And there were a few other random effects as well, just going on like random people. I'm trying to remember a few. There were quite a variety. Like one of the wizards turned to Gandalf for a while. But yeah, eventually, well, he had a pointy hat, a big grey beard, and it was just added his appearance into something that resembled Gandalf. And considering like he's a Japanese mage, it didn't really suit him. But eventually, I retired for the night slightly early because I was exhausted for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And this brought to the last day where I was once again monstering. As a character, I didn't really do much. I was doing mostly monstering this event. That's why it was slightly quieter for me. But this time I was playing two characters throughout an event. One was a goblin as part of a group of goblins.
Nice.
And another was a collection of random villagers. Because an island had reappeared that only appears every 10 years for a week. And on this island was the oldest human civilization, one of them, and like the original form of the goblins before evolution and interbreeding took them. The goblins were very fearful of ogres and looked down on any other goblins as like tainted half-breeds. Meanwhile, the humans were very smug and superior to all others because they're the originals and thus they should be better at everything. Yet they were very friendly and inviting, but they were very condescending.
Oddly paradoxical.
Yes, it was. Like, oh, look, we will give you anything you desire, you dirty, dirty peasants.
I can't tell if you're being nice or being an asshole, and that makes me want to stab you.
Yes, they very much wanted to stab us, but they couldn't, because they would not have ended since our king and queen could literally just point and say banish, and they banished from the island forever.
Sounds like a fun story.
But yeah, it started off, I was just one of the goblins, like speaking like this. Like, I was kind of a goblin now, okay, so go really deep like this at random intervals.
I think goblins is fun, though.
When they first arrived, we were very like, who the fuck are you? Why are you on this island? You want to pass? No, why should we let you pass? This is ours. What do you have to give us? You have this. Oh, well, like they gave us a piece of bread because you were hungry. They're like, oh, thanks. You still can't pass though. So that happened for a while. Eventually, we decided to let them pass because once their backs were turned on us, we were going to rob them. As we went to do so, Yeti, who I think I've mentioned before, he's the troll that can only speak like and tends to do stupid stuff. Kind of just turned around and roared at us, and we all just ran away.
Run away!
Run away!
Thing is,
run away!
Run away!
well, the rest of his party moved on. Yeti stayed behind. So we were like, oh, he's on his own now. Let's have some fun. So we all walked back. We had some abilities. So we caused one of our abilities to trip him, and then we glued him to the floor. And then he started trying to use his claws to cut his own legs off to get out of it, and then we glued his arms to his leg.
Ow.
So he was kind of just tied up amongst himself.
Ow.
So we started laughing at him. We robbed him.
That's just mean.
Mean.
We're goblins. We're very mean. We're not nice people. We also rob and beat each other up a lot as well.
You're mean.
And then we started to walk off. We're like, wait, he's a troll. So that's a form of ogre. We hate them. Kill him. So we ran back and killed him.
Yeah, you're gonna get along with Crimson just fine.
So we ran that. We started a bunch of times. At which point, his allies finally noticed what was going on. I was like, ah, shit, we gotta go save Yeti again.
Oh dear.
So they turned around. They came at us with like a big axe. Like, oh shit, we don't want to mess up them. We're gonna walk off now, and we did. And then they saved Yay. So we then went to more goblins. I was the next checkpoint, there was some who were still the damn, hey, what do you want? Fuck you, kind of stupid ones. And there were some that were really literate and elegant, just for reasons. While preparing for them to come along, we took a big stick and to the dirt and just wrote the word trap in there. So misspelled, like in all various places, like, that's a trap, you can't step there, it's very deadly trap, go away. They decided just to walk around it, much to our indignation. Aside from Yeti, who stepped in it, at which point we glued him again.
That's a trap, you
Oh,
can't
dear.
step there. Walks around it. Wait, that's illegal.
Yeah, we
Wait,
tried to stop them,
that's-
and they didn't listen. Aside from Yeti, Yeti said, if no trap steps in it, innate glue. Now he's stuck there. Until his fellows came along and literally just yanked him free of the glue, leaving half his fur behind.
Ouch.
They continued on. I started talking with one of the dwarves for a little while. I made him drop his axe and glued his axe to the floor. He was very unhappy with me. He also, for some reason, had a bird that had grown from his hand, and it had its own personality and sapience.
What?
So it was speaking. I had a conversation with a bird that was like for his hand.
Huh.
It was very weird. Some magic thing was going on there. Like I really like Birdie. Birdie nice. Birdie can go through. You quite like the bird. I also liked the dwarf's beard and stroked it a lot.
Oh
He
dear.
was very displeased with it. But there was also, once again, General Krenko, who, since he was a hobgoblin, an orange, and like a type of goblin produced by evolution and interbreeding, we kind of targeted him a lot with our ire and insulted him a lot. But from this point, we stopped the goblins for a while and entered the snobbish nice people. Where a lot of it was just like, oh dear, your clothes are quite tattered. You seem to be quite a poor variety, you poor peasants. Here, we'll give you all these really nice things at reduced prices. Some of it was, at one point I was working as one of the workers of this blacksmith, and where we were selling them weapons, half these weapons we were selling them were their own, which we'd recovered from that they dropped earlier. So we were selling them back their own weapons. And they actually bought them. We got them. So we got money from it. They never realized it was their own weapons until later.
Interesting.
Yeah. They didn't realize. Eventually they got to the king and queen. They did an audience with them. They managed to do what they came to and started to leave. I didn't do much this time because I was just a royal guard, so I sat there looking stoic. And as they were leaving, they ran into some more goblins, only these ones had glazed over eyes and had a blood. And the moment they left the kingdom, they charged them.
Oh dear.
So, and we still had all the abilities, so like the front shield wall, we just went innate clumsy, which caused them to drop their weapons. Innate tripped them, innate glued to the floor. At which point we started wailing on them. And another thing I should note, since this place is weird, all of their magic has the inverse effects of what is intended that they use.
Oh.
So, the church healer who was with them for this mission, like her whole thing, like she only has healing magics. At one point, she's like compelled to heal by both an oath and a magic ring.
She damaged him, didn't she?
One of the goblins went down early on. She cast magic on him, and he disintegrated.
Oh,
He absolutely
Jesus.
melted.
Oh no.
It did the healing killed him. At which point she had a B-sword, like a complete mental breakdown. Had to have her memories erased of the event.
Oh god.
Poor little bugger.
Oh god. That's horrible.
But she killed one of the goblins by accident. And like things like fire turned into a snowball that healed us. So
You like
What the
snow-
fuck?
yeah, and magic resist didn't work.
They made you vulnerable, right?
Like casting mage armor on people caused them to have no armor,
They-
Oh.
things like that.
Naked.
And this comes into play, especially for me, in a minute. Something right at the end happens where we did a few waves of these goblins going at them. We did a few damage, but ultimately they had much more people, and better armor and stuff, so they could down us. Even though, as well as magic, they all only did single damage, even if they were calling like fatals or whatever, because of the effects of this place. But we only had like 2 hit points each on each limb. So we went down. Then on my final go around, we were guarding like a fence, trying to stop them from going over it. One of them seemed to forget what was going on. Cast a spell called Consecrate, which is like would give us like a massive debuff since your creatures are dark.
Oh no.
And would make us very, very weak, sluggish, and basically just would be torn asunder. It did the opposite. We were suddenly enraged, had double hips, double health points, all of it, and we charged them. So we started laying into them. There was a much bloodier fight. So eventually we did fall. I fell to the ground dead, and saw me and came running towards me. Fortunately, at this point, she knew about. She'd been told, even after her memories, that magic had the opposite effect. She started using mundane healing and non-magical surgery. So she put me in the cover of a tree, started doing surgery on me to try and save my life. One of like the
throw
the
a healing
boars,
snowball
Ace,
at him.
leader of the boars, Ace, like one of the big heaviest hitters they have. He came over and like told her like, no, don't do that. He's one of the enemies. Don't do that. That's bad. So like she ignored and kept continuing because she has to. At which point, like, all right, I'll deal with it then. Innate cast death. Yeah, I'm back at full and re-energized, so I pick up my sword and start hitting the healer.
Oh, you little jackass!
Oh dear.
No, I'm in a blood rage, even more so because of the failed consecrate. So I just start wailing on the healer, at which point Ace realizes his mistake. So he takes out my sword arm, kind of puts me against it, and like, chokes me out until I pass out. And because he doesn't want to kill me again in front of the healer, because even though I just hit her, she's demanding she does not, because it's still in her oath. I wake up again, he chokes me out again. I wake up again, start hitting him with my other hand, so he breaks my arm.
Oh god.
And chokes me out again. At which point he waits until Una's gone and then finishes me off by decapitating me.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
What a dig!
Quite the story.
Yeah. And that was how that ended. And they managed to get back and succeed in their mission. With only slightly scarred, and she doesn't know why because she doesn't remember. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Is she dark?
Yeah, no kidding. Here, I'm going to heal you. Why are you turning into a puddle?
It was brutal. I just love the moment where it's like, and it costs death. Oh. Single. That poor healer. She goes through a lot of shit. Oh, and one more thing about Un. She gets all the responsibility she doesn't want because currently she's head of the healers. She's one of the ring bearers, which wasn't her choice. She's on the racial council, which wasn't her choice, and now she's been declared one of the new 13 heroes of Albion with a great destiny to fulfill because the original 13 was shit and were fired.
What?
Basically they just sat. The king came out basically saying the original 13 heroes of Albion have done nothing. They just sat in a tavern all day, so they're fired, and we've selected 13 new heroes to do their jobs.
Damn.
And Un's one of them. And when Un was announced, she tried to run away.
You don't get to escape this.
They should have immediately disqualified her.
But no, they did it anyway, mostly because she has a ring, and she's the only current dedicated healer in the system. So she has a lot of things on her plate, and she's overwhelmed.
Yeeks.
Wow.
All right. Well, we've got about 11 minutes left, so we got one more topic. Yet more adventures of Crimson the Red Dragon from the D&D campaign of Darkness's Friend. Darkness, go!
Yep. Anyway, they managed to reach the town that needs help, which Crimson got welcome in open arms, being declared as a hero, which he's not happy with, and the Fire Mage found out about Mirren hugging her, and he felt offended and
Because
literally
for-
just
because
broke up with Crimson on the spot.
Even though they were
Which-
never even a thing.
Yep, which he pointed out as a fact, and he's just in complete denial and delusion and goes to drink off to the bar. The two female characters of the group go to talk to her. This is Mirren's plan, not theirs. Well,
a girl
Dawn's
talk, I
checking
don't
up on
know.
Aston. Yep. Where Dawn's gone to check up on Aston to see if he's okay.
And make sure it doesn't burn the house down.
Yep. Spite, and then we continue from here. Spite, he completely drank the most strongest alcohol, not once, not twice, not 3, but 4. Well, not even 4. Nearly 4 times, but he couldn't make it through the last one, and he just freaking passed out. They managed to wheel Crimson back in, but they had to go the next day. So they stayed in an interesting inn that was owned by a happy chap with quite an interesting head chef known as Butcher. And Butcher is a huge muscular orc that likes to carry a massive freaking meat cleaver with him.
Butcher is a butcher.
Yep.
Orcs.
And everyone looked horrified, and Crimson, of course, she wouldn't be able to go in there. She has to sleep outside, which she wasn't happy with. The only reason why she's with them, though, because as soon as she heard castle, she was in. Because her castle equals valuables.
That and dragons are all about. They're all about that treasure.
Yep. She don't give a shit about anyone who might be holed up in this castle. She just wants the treasure. But anyway, the guy was like, don't worry about Butcher. He's completely harmless and a great chef, I assure you. He's your chef? Yes. He could cook anything and make it delicious.
Can he cook Ashton?
One of them did say, so you mean you also mean anyone? Bit cannibalistic, but pretty much.
Just a little.
Which for some reason the orc was now and then staring at Aston for a while, with like happy content. He had a sinister smile on his face.
Oh god. Oh no.
Can we get to the creepy castle now? I don't like the orc.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
You may like him or not is at your own peril, even though he doesn't care. But the own peril would be this: never say you dislike his cooking. He finds it very offensive. Okay. We do, like the last person who insulted his cooking, which then he became the cooking.
Oh no! Wait, that's illegal.
You're an orc.
Isn't murdering your guests illegal? Frankly, nobody knows I'm here. I'm just the random man of this nice little structure in the woods. Right, good for that. I'm going. So,
Goodbye.
good to know. Please come again shortly. We admire your company once more. No. We got things to do.
Just no. We're done here.
And once they showed up at the castle, they seemed to find the castle actually very pleasant. It looks pretty nice. In mint condition. No damage whatsoever. Even the trees around it seem to be thriving with life, where they heard tales that this is a gothic, horrifying castle where there's no life around it, but it's the complete opposite. Okay, did we end up in the wrong place? Who cares? It's a castle. Let's see if there's anyone inside. Knock the door, Mirren. No answer. The fuck is that? You call that knocking? Knock harder. And still no answer. And then Aston took over and just thumped on the door, even kicked on it, and gave a horrible remark. Which, of course, still no answer. So he was getting impatient. He decided to declare he's gonna charge at the door and kick it down.
This is gonna be great.
He rolled a critical success.
Oh.
He won all the way from the beginning of the bridge to charge forward straight towards the door. And as soon as before his foot even had a chance to connect with the doors swing wide open. He was in mid-kick. He did a freaking backwards flip right onto his face on the huge stone marble floor.
Wow.
Because it was a floor that's marble fused with stone as well.
Wow.
And all you heard was like this bone sound crunch as he hits the floor.
Oh.
Get fucked.
FUCC''D.
Mm.
Fucked.
Mirren face palmed. Domin wondered what the fuck just happened. The assassin was just like, seriously?
I don't know what the
And
fuck
the
just
elf-
happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Sevilla, the cleric, also the elf, she had a little bit of a smirk on her face. Crimson, on the other hand, she was just having a huge laughter at the whole entire moment. King of the flames, he says. More like the king of the fools. Do it again. Please. I want to see it again.
I don't know either. I want to see it again. Do it again.
Do it again. I wasn't looking.
Oh,
And
no
as soon as he got
explosion.
up-
Boo. Ooh, an explosion. Wait, I missed it. Do it again.
Yeah. As soon as he get up, I don't know how that. Everyone had a bit of a look of a shock on him, except for Crimson. She was still amused. What's the damage? You got a pretty bad nosebleed, buddy. Well, that happened. Aren't you gonna do your job? I suppose. So he got himself healed up, and then they had to come up with a plan. They all wanted to check the castle together, but Crimson had other plans. She decided to search for the treasure, so she's going up on the higher levels. Which Mirren was against this. We should stick together. You can find them on your own. You don't need me. What do we do? I go with Crimson. You four try to find people. We can't let her go on her own. She's a dragon. She can look after herself. It's a huge castle. What if she gets lost? Oh, don't worry. I could hack onto your scent.
That's creepy.
Like I'm hunting prey. Oh, thanks for the detail. But I'm coming with you. Try to keep up. Lead the way, elf. Shouldn't you, Mr. Candleman?
You got 2 minutes, by the way.
I know. I burn you alive for that remark. But then who would heal your crooked nose? Wait, is crooked?
Oh, incredibly.
Which, since I got 1 minute, I get to the bit where where Crimson did come across a worm that looked very pleasant, but also had a nice looking chest in front of her. It was all wood with a nice gold rim and a few gems on it.
It's a
looked pretty
mimic.
nice. But Crimson dwelled on awareness. She sniffed around the worm and looked around. She picked up a weird odor, and then she wasted no time and threw a fireball at the chest, which starts to go through a weird metamorphosis and then starts to open up, and he rows of teeth and it screams in agony
Mimic.
until it
Fucking
just
hate
freaking
mimics.
died down with a few twitches as it's burnt alive.
Jeez.
Mirren came charging in like, what happened? And the fuck is that? That was a mimic. It takes more than a foolish creature like that to fool me, though. That's a mimic? What a horrifying monster. And then they continue onwards, where it appears this castle there's more to meet the eye. But of course, I have to tell you more about that next time. The looks of it.
Indeed. We're pretty much out of time, so I'll cap off with a related joke, a mimic joke, which goes as, the barkeeper asked why we carried weapons on us in the bar. I said, mimics. The barkeeper laughed. The party laughed. The table laughed. We killed the table. It was a good time. And with that classic Dungeons and Dragons story now told, it is time for us to end today's episode of Jibber Jabber. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening. We'll see you next time. Keep listening, people. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ta-ra.
Fucking mimics!